Many people who have served as a county sheriff have become the unquestioned leader of their respective county, while others have served only to serve themselves at best or have been a complete disappointment at worst. We want to know about you as a person who's seeking the office of Sheriff of Hill County. Before we begin that, 30 seconds, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Coy E. I've lived in Hill County since 1984. I worked for the Hill County Sheriff's Office to the rank of Chief Deputy under Sheriff Brent Button. For the last 14 years, I've operated a private investigation polygraph business that functions across the state of Texas.
Okay. Very good. All right.
You said short.
I like it. It's a smart politician. Leave room on the table. Okay. So we have a series of questions. We'll ask you, they're either 2-minute or 1-minute answers. Gigi Peralta is our timer, and when we're up to 15 seconds, she'll give you the nod so you know about to run out. So, all right, so these are all questions on leadership. The first question is a 2-minute answer, and we want to know, why are you running for sheriff, and also include any leadership positions you've attained in your career.
The primary reason that I'm running for sheriff in Hill County is that I have the luxury of running a very service-oriented sheriff. And I think personally we've gotten away from that, and I think it needs to get back more to community service and partnership with the public. I think the old ways are still the good ways to come through. As far as personal leadership, I started at the sheriff's office under the jail under Brent Button, Wayne Vickers, and grew all the way through to supervising every position, eventually being chief deputy to make the decisions day in and day out when the sheriff wasn't there or entrusted me with those positions. As far as me personally is growing is one of the things I did that my sheriff allowed me to do was go to polygraph school in 2006. In that time, I wasn't just settled to be the sheriff or be the sheriff that had a polygraph license. I started my own business, and one of the things I achieved out of all the examiners in the state of Texas is after 9 years, I managed to be one of 7 on the state board that I was elected to across the state, and I'm third in position for that now. The leadership things I think are going to either be there or they're not going to be there. I think it's not stuff you can't always learn, it's stuff you have to practice, and you have to have some examples. I think one of the keys is you can't be in a sheriff's office or any position of authority and not be willing to admit you don't know everything. I think you have to seek out the other county officials, DPS, DEA, whoever you work with. I think you've got to be willing to admit when you don't know anything and try to learn from the people that do. Good, go.
All right. Our next question is a 1-minute answer, and the question is, what is your leadership style, and give an example.
I'm very hands-on about leadership. An example is, it doesn't matter, when I was the chief deputy at the Hill County Sheriff's Office, some of you live on the west side of the county, is I never shied away from taking calls. I never thought I was too good to take calls. We had a policy and our numbers were listed in the book so people could call you at home if they had a problem. I don't believe you solve cases or help people when you're on duty. I think it has to do with when you're sitting in the pew or at the baseball field with them. I think that's what matters. Probably the biggest example that I can think of that kind of turned my life around was I answered a call one night for a young man named Kevin Davis, and because I answered that call and the way I approached that call, when the bullet went through my windshield, it didn't hit me where he would have drove to the door. So I think those things play themselves out about being the leader to come in.
All right, we now have several questions about the visibility of the sheriff. This will be a 2-minute answer. Who should be the primary voice of the sheriff's office and why? 2 minutes.
The sheriff's got to be the primary voice. And the real reason is while the sheriff may be able to give some of his authority away, he can't ever give responsibility away. The buck, everybody knows, has got to stop somewhere. Now, as far as being visible, being out, is that one of the things that I think needs to go back to the way it was is you need deputies that work in their area. Sure, the sheriff needs to go around, the sheriff needs to be available, but you know people, and if you know deputies, they're going to talk to you more. They're going to give you information that you might not get if you're kind of an outside person. Me personally, I think community policing, long before it was an issue or a phrase, was what the Hill County Sheriff used to do. to come in. And so it just makes it different for accessibility to come in. But I still think at the end of the day, you can't sit back and say, well, it's not my fault. Not if you land as that position and you know that position comes with those inherent responsibilities that you can't pass off on anybody.
All right. Our next question would be the 2-minute answer as well. What is the best way for the sheriff's office to communicate to the citizens of Hill County?
Okay, so as a 14-day veteran of Facebook, I'm going to say that's not it. I hit the wrong buttons and delete screens and all that good stuff. I still think it goes back to the same answer. If you've got a deputy that lives in this area, that works this area primary, that goes to the schools to drop off his kids, go watch his kids, go to church, those guys are the best way in person. Not phone calls, not letting me check, not I'll send you an instant message on Facebook, because I'd send it to the wrong person, but it's just better to do it personal, to come in. And I think that's it. And I think what you've got to do is, I never understood this with Brent Button, but he would say, I'm staying in the office because that's where people know to come find me. Big old county, 67 miles, right? Mount Com to Blum. Long way. So if I go over to Mount Com to meet people, and I'm not talking about never getting out, so don't let anybody stress that out of place, is that I'm talking about if you come into the office and I'm 67 miles away, I don't think that works to get into people. So I think it's through your deputies that you set a standard for. And I think that's the best way to communicate.
All right, so you've told us what you think the best way is to communicate. Now we'd like to know what should be communicated to the citizens of Hill County in 2 minutes as well.
I think the first thing you've got to do, this is a leadership forum, or the topic is that I think the first thing you have to do is set a standard of what you're going to accept and what your consistent philosophy is with the sheriff's office. Is the best way for everybody to be involved is to come through. I'm not sure that you want to get into how you do and how you don't do it, but I think the availability and the truth of it all makes it easier to come through. I really believe this is that you can't have, and if any of these candidates, including me, try to tell you I can fix this, that's just nonsense. Is you can only do it if you surround yourself with a good team, period. And that starts from every level. From the time you answer the phone, you don't get a recorder. When they say they're going to send by, they send by. These are basics. I really believe it's all basics. Is you got to make yourself accessible. And then if you're going to get back with somebody, actually get back with somebody and make a difference to come through. And if you don't know, reach out and try to learn more about that.
Very good. All right. You spoke on it briefly a second ago. 1 minute answer. What role should social media play in running a sheriff's office?
I don't think it's a good idea, you know. I can tell you, I've ran seriously my private investigation. I've been very blessed, and I know the first thing we do when we get a client is I pay some college kid to go look and do the social media. I think things can get taken out of context, especially when you text or as bad as I do, I can't imagine making a post to come in. I don't think it really should be. I think it should be nothing more than a bulletin board to say, hey, we're having a parade here, we're having an update, fall season. But as far as sheriff's office business, I'm not a big fan that any of it should be done on social media. It needs to be personal, just like the service needs to be personal.
Okay. All right. And this is your last question. Be a 2 minute answer. Doing good. All right. Give an example of a contentious workplace situation you were involved in, and how did you resolve it? 2 minutes.
It might take me 2 minutes to think of contentious workplace. The thing under our sheriff is he was very firm and very strict, but the sheriff's department spoke with one voice. He set the philosophy. He made you responsible for the philosophy. And he used to tell you when you give your badge, this is my name. That's important. That's huge. And if you continue your deputies out, I don't think you can get into how all of it ties together unless you have a consistent philosophy. You can't have a chief deputy that says, I want to do this. You can't have a jail administrator that says, I want to do this. You can't have a sheriff that says, I don't know, I'll call you back when I get my opinion from somebody else. I think it all has to flow with one consistent voice. And there has to be penalties and consequences for not sticking to those rules.
Very good. Agent Coy West, our third candidate for sheriff.